James Anderson with RotoWire here with 5 hitters I'm not drafting this season. First guy I'm not drafting is Mike Trout. His name value is doing a lot of the work with the ADP right now. He's post-prime. I don't think that's really debatable. If you look at the strikeout rate, you look at the expected batting average by most projection systems, this isn't prime Mike Trout even when he's healthy. And he's averaged 79 games over the past 3 years. And now we're supposed to expect him to play more now that he's a year older and he's on the worst team he's been on, arguably as a pro. Certainly one of the worst lineups he's ever been a part of. I just don't see this guy playing through nagging injuries this year on a team that's going nowhere. And his contract's also sneakily pretty bad. So there's just no way the Angels would trade him this year in a deal where they're basically getting nothing back for him. They wouldn't take that PR hit. I still think Trout's going to perform like a top 100-ish player when he's healthy. I just don't think you can count on more than half a season from Mike Trout. And he's not going to run much anymore. And he's not going to give you that crazy high batting average that he did in his prime, even when he's healthy. Another guy I'm not drafting, Jazz Chisholm of the Marlins. I was a believer in Jazz as a prospect. I was a believer again entering his prove-it year in 2022. But I also was once a pretty big believer in Byron Buxton's ability to produce in fantasy. And I think I've seen enough at this point to think that Jazz is kind of heading down that same path where he's got this alluring power-speed combo that we all want, we're all chasing, but just major durability issues, especially since he moved to center field. He's actually even smaller than Buxton. And the center field, it just takes a toll on your body. I'm not really buying the notion that just because he's not eating McDonald's every day, he's going to all of a sudden be able to play full season out there. Kind of hope I'm wrong about this one, but you're taking him so high, you're really paying for him to play 120 games or so. And I just don't think that's realistic given what he's done the last 2 years. The next guy I'm not touching is Kyle Schwarber. There's only been 1 year in the last 4 where Schwarber hasn't completely tanked your batting average. That year, his BABIP was 50 points higher than his career average. The home runs, the RBI, they're probably going to be elite again, but you should be building a really nice batting average base early in drafts so that you can take shots on flawed players later. I don't like taking a player in the top 100 that you know is going to tank your batting average, because then even if you've built it up with your earlier picks, you're kind of back to the middle now with the Schwarber pick. Just not a good way to build your roster in standard roto leagues. The next guy I'm not drafting, Esteury Ruiz, just outside the top 100. You expect that Ruiz is going to get 50 steals. That's why you're drafting him, maybe even 60 steals. But what if he gets injured? What if he loses his job because he's really not that good of a real life player? I know the A's don't have a great depth chart, but this isn't a guy that's just locked and loaded for the entire season. So what if he loses his job? What if he gets injured? Then you're 30 steals shy, 40 steals shy that you were counting on heading into the year. You're just not going to be able to make that up. If you're taking Esteury Ruiz around pick 100, to me that just tells me that you effed up earlier in the draft.
We up.
You really need those steals, and that's just not how you should be building steals. You should be building throughout the draft, quality over quantity. Not touching Esteury Ruiz. It's a bad move from a roster construction standpoint. The final guy that I'm not going near at cost right now is Jorge Soler. He got paid by the Giants, but he went to one of the worst landing spots imaginable. Bottom 5 park for righty power in San Francisco. We've seen Soler produce in pitcher-friendly parks before, but Soler has hit below 230 in 3 of the last 4 seasons, and he now has life-changing money in his bank account. I just think we're headed for a dip again. This is not a consistent player by any means. He could repeat what he did last year with the Marlins, but it seems like nobody cares about his run from 2020, 2021, 2022, where you wouldn't have touched him in the top 100 the following season. So there's 5 hitters I'm not going near in drafts this season.